My goodness. Like the side. Cats like the side, they have glands on the side. Are they the same as ordinary cats? It's like Thor. It's a slight one there, but that's a good thing to have been scratched by a cheetah. It's a distinguished scratch. It's a much more interesting scratch than a cat scratch. Right, let me see. Impossible. The problem is the thorns. Aramotswe would sort this out. No, I'm caught.
Honey, come and give us a hand.
Very, very nice. Well, you're caught now.
Yeah, everywhere. I think it's underneath that.
Watch your hands there, Hans.
Yeah. Some.
Okay. Just don't let that rip.
Now it's stuck on the.
There. No, Hans, watch your hand there. Watch your arm, Hans.
Let's go, lady. In. I will stay here then for the rest of the week.
Okay, Hans?
Yep, almost.
For you.
4.
My goodness me.
You know.
That was an instant success. Eventually. Hello, Neil. See you.
In a charitable organisation, we've still got all the older cars and stuff.
And he takes the view that these modern vehicles are just intended to confuse us.
That's a relationship that we have, because the vehicles. When I try and take these old vehicles to town, to the modern garages, the guys don't really have much time for me, because he believes in the project that we're doing.
Oh, he does, yeah.
The environmental.
No, he's very aware of that. He's got very little time. He's got lots of time for his apprentices, but a lot of people have got very little time.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll come right?
Well, I think so.
Have you had them out here? Have they ever been the apprentices?
They have been, yes.
Were they any good?
They're good. They're good guys, really.
Yeah.
You see, I'm in the same position as well. I've also got my apprentices here. So
Mr.
JLB and I share a lot of, stories between each other. And I actually get a lot of advice from him.
He actually saw his apprentices once using a hammer on an engine.
Yeah, which is religiously not right. In our field. Still 3 runners. We're keeping them running to the best of our abilities.
Yeah.
This one is very responsible for taking our chalet ladies to the chalets and all sorts of food around the park. It's 1972 old house. This is the one really that was the JLB helps me out with.
Oh yeah.
A lot of spares. This one here, I've got some springs that are broken there.
Yeah.
But the new price for springs on there is far too much. But Mr. JLB said to me that there's a sort of a wealthy cattle farmer friend of his, which is bringing in a Hilux to get new springs.
So he'll give you all that.
So
he's great like that.
Yeah, so for me,
he won't throw anything away.
Yeah, for the farmer, it won't be safe for him to be on the highways and that with those springs.
Yeah.
But for me on the farm, they will work great again. So so he's just waiting to give me some springs and then I will put them in.
That's tremendous. It's wonderful keeping these old vehicles of character. So do you train people here, Neil?
Yes, we do. I'd like to maybe to introduce you to some of my staff. Andres. Sorry, Papa. This is Andres.
Hello, Ras.
Sorry about the grease on the hands.
That's okay.
This is our head mechanic.
Right.
And Martin, got Martin, he's our,
Hello, Martin.
he's my apprentice.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 attachments from Gaborone, trainee mechanics.
Oh, right, from the college.
And then we've got another great sort of private joke between the 2 of us, because Mr. JLB's got his engine that's in his house on the floor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That he, is going to get going one day.
One of these
I've got
days.
the same thing here. This is my little baby here. So
Tell us what that is, Neil.
it's an old 3-liter V6 that I hope to get going one day. But every time we see each other, we rag each other, because he'll say, "How far are you?" and I'll say, "How far are you?" So, but also we help each other, because we make certain phone calls when we find old scrapyards, and he'll always ask them also for me, while he's inquiring about his engine. He'll ask, "By the way, I've got a friend with a 3-liter V6, and maybe you could help us get some spares." So slowly we're building the things together, but we rag each other every time.
He's familiar with that sort of engine.
Very,
is he?
very,
He
very
knows that
familiar,
sort of- What's his favorite sort of vehicle? JLB Matakani?
Ramatakani's got a soft passion for the big V8s.
Does he like them? Yeah.
Likes the V8s or V6, nothing less. Those are his pride and joy.
Yeah.
He enjoys those.
And of course, some modern mechanics won't understand those. They won't be able to. They won't have because they're so used to these modern diagnostic tools and things like that.
that's the whole thing. The vehicles of today are going into the 4-cylinder turbocharged sort of engines, and they've lost that good old grunt and boil of the V8s and V6s, which being a mechanic can gives you a feeling inside to hear it purring once you've got it finally tuned.
Yeah.
So Sandy, what was the, you two were discussing another storyline that you were going to set up. What was that?
Well, that's that's all true. We're not making any of this up.
No, this is just part of
This is cinema verite. And
Leaving that aside.
I'm just making that clear. We were talking. I was very interested to hear a story yesterday from Neil about how Maramatsui actually came out here and saw. It's quite interesting. She came out to get some engine parts for Mr. JLB Matakani, because Neil had got these. And this is all going to go into Volume 7 of the Maramatsui works.
But was there a bit that we missed there when the generator came on?
Well, it was about you didn't get a discussion about JLB Matakani's favourite sort of vehicle, so if you want Siva to get that, we can do it.
That's it. So, okay, we can look at him, say.
Okay.
Can look.
Don't get my bulb.
You think you've got them?
So you were telling me a story about his favourite sort of vehicle. What is it?
Well, Neil knows. This is information I'm getting from him.
Mr. JLB's pride and sort of passion is the V8 Chev Ford Fairlane engine, which they put into the Ford F100s. But anything really V8 or V6 with the big grunt, the old V8s, is his pride and joy, his passion, which is shared by mine as well. We both, the new cars that you see today is a lot of 4 cylinders which are turbocharged and all of that, but they don't have the good old solid grunt and boil of a V8, which we all grew up on and they know and trust them. So that's his passion.
Yeah, I like a big engine. I've got a Mercedes-Benz 5.6 litre SEC with double kickdown.
Oh, okay. That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
The G-forces when you put your foot on that. Not that I ever do, but if you were to put your foot in a hypothetical case.
The only problem with that is if it gives you a little bit of trouble, we won't be able to help you.
Oh, you'll be able to do that. You and JLB must go to do it.
I'm sure we would, but
it's an old engine, 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I was thinking of more than modern things.
No.
Quite scared of.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, but there's just, it's actually a spiritual thing. It's not just a car as such. Once you've tuned them and set the timing right, set those carburetors right.
JLB Matakani says that an engine will speak to you.
Yeah,
and what do you think he means when he says that?
I think the engine is dead until the key's turned, and once you turn that key, it comes to life, and it actually relies on you to keep it finely tuned, give it the attention it needs, and so forth. You know, things have died now with vehicles. If a vehicle's got a problem, you plug in a computer chip or whatever, and then it will fix it. But there's no satisfaction in that, I don't think, because it's the computer. But I think you get self-satisfaction when you're actually tuning and tweaking the carburetors and tuning setting the timing to the right. Very good. It's got an interesting because I thought they're gone.
Yeah.
But they're still there.
I don't know. Can we sit under the tree there?
This one, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Say that I want to do a thing in plot.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's sort of quite nice to talk about the characters as real people in a way, but this sequence is sort of like you're talking to Neil about using this location.
Yeah, and I'd that's fine.
So if we can get you sitting down having a cup of tea or something and see if I'll move around you, same sort of thing.
Fine,
okay.
Fine. Let's go and then we'll start the conversation. So once the tea arrives, we're on.
Okay.
Picky. Is this Picky?
Yeah, this is Picky, yeah.
Picky. Oh, there we are.
Oh, thank you.
That's welcome. And I had said some time ago that I'd like to have a Mokolodi scene using this place for a scene in the books. And the difficulty is deciding what Maramatsu is going to do if she comes out here. So I wondered if you could think of anything.
They had seen a couple of our brochures and learnt about Mokolodi in Nata once.
Oh yes.
This is where they found out about Mokolodi. So they decided to travel on through, and they were here first thing in the morning with the injured ground hornbill. So I did the necessary and booked it into the sanctuary and started the normal care to start healing the injured wing. Luckily, we did bring in one of our veterinarians, which had a good look at it, and it wasn't broken. The bird stayed with us for a few days in the sanctuary, and from the day the bird arrived, you could see all sorts of little meetings going on. Staff had gathered into little meetings, and there was a lot of talk, and I was very worried because it was such unnatural behavior. I hadn't seen it before, and I was wondering, the whole time what it was, and I just couldn't get to the bottom of it for a good few days. And eventually I called one of my elders, one of the staff, and I sat him down and I asked him what I saw. I said, really, man, something's going on. You can see something's going on.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you have a problem, or is there something wrong? At first he was a little bit hesitant, reluctant. He sort of said, things are okay, they're fine. And I sort of pressed the issue a bit more. I said, no, Sobe, please tell me. And I think he was a little bit reluctant to say anything. The situation turned out to be this ground hornbill that had arrived at Mokolodi Nature Reserve. And that the staff were very, very unhappy and worried and scared about this bird. He was like, no man, it's not right. This bird is bad for us, I'm telling you. And I said to him, Sobe, but why? I mean, this is what we do here, look after. But he said, yes, Neil, I know. That's why we've all been reluctant to come and tell you, because we know that is what we do here. But really, in our hearts and in our tradition, man, that bird it's bad. You've brought it from the delta, where there's water and rivers, and you've brought it into Gabs and you've put it in a cage here, and that's bad. That bird is going to curse us, and we will have a drought, I promise you. We're going to have drought, bad, for as long as that bird is in this park. And of course, I got quite a fright, because I was in a very bad predicament. I've got a whole staff on the one hand that I really need to be positive. Then I've got a bird which we are trying to rehabilitate, which is what we stand for, and which is our goals. And I was in a predicament. I actually didn't know what I was going to do. It's one of the times I've been pretty much stuck. And everything started going wrong for us as well. We had all sorts of bad lucks. In the sanctuary itself, we had the martial eagle which has got a broken wing, which has actually grown, but she's still got a hell of a lot of arthritis, so she can't take off. So we've built a nice exercising cage for her. She got out one of the days. We had 2 vervet monkeys, which were also brought in from, which we confiscated from children in town that had kept them as pets. So we gave them a better home and built them a whole thing. They also got out and ran around the park. And yeah, things were getting...
Since the arrival of the Grand Hornbill.
Miraculously, one fine morning when I walked down to the sanctuary, the bird was gone.
By itself?
By itself.
Nobody had eaten it?
No, nobody wanted to feed it.
Let alone eat it.
Let alone eat it. So,
and that was it?
Sivo's going to reposition so that he'll be on you.
Okay.
And I just want you to pick it up when you ask the question, what happened?
Okay.
Get Neil to just give you an abridged answer there.
Okay.
And then I'll get you to
and then
sort of
say
take
what
the conversation.
Okay.
Make a comment about that story, talk to Neil about using.
That'll be great. Thanks very much.
Now we can continue.
Maramots, we come out here and speak to you, as long as you don't mind being a character in a book.
No.
You become fictional.
Okay.
It's quite nice being fictional.
Yeah.
As a fictional character, you have none of the problems of a real character, you know that.
Yeah, sure.
So she'll come out and speak to you, and the bird will be here. She comes out perhaps to carry out some errand for Mr. J.L.B. Masconi. The bird's here. She picks up that something is wrong. You seem a bit down. Everybody seems a bit anxious.
Sure.
And you explain the situation, and she obviously feels this is a very difficult position where you obviously have the duty to get the bird well and back into the bush, and at the same time you're concerned about your staff. So she has a conversation with you, and then she picks up the parts, the mechanical parts that you're giving to Mr. J.L.B. Masconi. You've got some bits and pieces.
Engine mountings.
Some engine mountings. Yeah. She puts those in the back of her tiny white van, her little baccy. Goes up, and when she gets back to town, there's another box as well.
Okay.
And she looks at that, and that contains a Grand Hornbill. And the staff have put that in, so she's now in charge of the Grand Hornbill. It's her problem.
All right.
And she'll solve that, because the Grand Hornbill she'll put it in the garage in this crate with some air holes, put a bit of food in. But she of course won't tell the apprentices that's a Grand Hornbill, because she doesn't want a replay of your difficulties. And she then it recovers and she gets rid of it, and she takes it off somewhere. So she's solved the problem. I think that might make sense.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
So you will be appearing, if you don't mind, in this book, and I'll show you the bit in which you appear before you appear. So if there's something that you say in the book that you don't think you would say in real life, just let me know.
Okay, no, great.
And I'll change it accordingly. But I think I should be able to paint a reasonably accurate picture. Well, I hope I'll be able to paint a reasonably accurate picture of
I'm sure you will.
of what you say, I think. So there we are. Well, that solves my problem.
That's great.
And welcome to the series.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's great. It's quite an honour to be sitting with you. Just be sitting with you. Never mind to be maybe in the novel.
I can't guarantee you. I can't guarantee you a part in any film that may be made of the book. But I could mention it to the filmmakers, and see what they think.
That would be great.
We're just about done here.
Yeah.
I just want one more, Sivo, if you wouldn't mind. Can I just get you, Sandy, again to say to Neil, that's if you wouldn't mind being a character. What I'm after is your facial reaction. So I'm going to have to get you to sort of, because it was a nice, but we were sort of on Sandy. So I just need you to sort of re-say that and you to react to being a character. Neil, try and give a natural
Express surprise, he's never heard this before. You see.
Okay.
Don't say, but you've just said that.
Yeah.
Don't say, do you realise how repetitive you are? So that's, I think, what we'll do. We'll have Maramatsui coming out here and sorting things out in that way. Now, do you mind being a character in the book itself, as
Sure.
yourself?
You mean really in the book?
In the
story?
book. In the book.
Wow. I think I could live with that. Yeah. I think that's quite an honour. It's an honour actually just sitting here with you. Never mind being in the book.
Well, that's very kind of you to say that. So, so you're in. That's you committed to literature.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's quite an honour. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Excellent.
He's
He's
in.
definitely getting
Neil,
to the
you
film.
probably should get it into the film after that performance.
He's got he's got a 6 months contract with Neighbours.
Now let's go on and
Your domain.
you come up here and you just let the wind blow through you.
That's when you were saying, this is where you come.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you really get into the hub of things.
Yeah, we've got to go because I've got to go and be scratched by a cheetah. Haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.